Today we're at the famous Bonneville Salt Flats, just outside Salt Lake City, Utah, where men and women and their machinery come to challenge world land speed records.
Located near the Utah-Nevada border is a 12-mile stretch of flat land consisting of pure white salt, which sits amid a picturesque mountain range. Known as the Bonneville Salt Flats, this uniquely beautiful area serves a practical purpose to amateur car racers who have discovered that the salt is an ideal surface for reaching top speeds with their custom machinery. And so for the last 75 years, drivers from all over the country have traveled to the Salt Flats, full of dreams of victory and the determination to achieve immortality in the record books. And fast is the name of the game out here, as over 235 vehicles are lining up for the 37th Annual National Speed Trials. But before we meet the stars of this year's competition, let's look back at the original history makers. The very first record for a 1-mile run was established as far back as 1904 by Henry Ford, who boasted the speed of 91 miles per hour. Through the years at Bonneville, thousands of cars have raced down the thin black line, including Gary Gablich, who topped the speedometer at 622 miles per hour in 1965, and Stan Barrett, who reached 638 miles per hour in 1979. The view hasn't changed much for the drivers today as they continue to strive for their own recognition in challenging the men that came before them. And the spectators' view has also remained the same. For if variety is the spice of life, then Bonneville is the place to be to witness the ultimate assortment of high-powered vehicles. Because of the wide range of cars that participate in the speed trials, it is necessary to divide them into 12 separate categories. Although the shapes, sizes, and colors may vary, these cars are bound together by one common link.
Speed, that's the main thing. Just to see how fast you can go with whatever you got. I don't care if it's a bicycle, just see how fast you can go with it.
Horsepower is the name of the game.
This here, it's quite a challenge to get it down through there in one piece and straight.
This year, over 24 records were broken in the various categories, including a steam-powered car that averaged over 145 miles per hour. In order to get in the record books at Bonneville, you must first break the current record in a qualifying run. Then, the record run consists of a two-way average speed of the fastest mile during one consecutive run back and forth on the 5-mile course. This was an ongoing process all week long, starting from sunrise to sunset, as everyone made those all-important final adjustments in the pit area. In their favor this year was unusually excellent weather conditions, with bright blue skies and no rain in sight, as these racers lined up with their vehicles and their dreams of victory. At 71 years old, Charles Scott, known as Scotty to his friends, has been a record breaker on the Salt Flats for over 36 years.
I came here in 1949 to the first Bonneville meet we had with a little roadster, and I turned 117 miles an hour, which at that time I thought it was real good. But at the times they're turning now, that's nothing. We were the first open-wheel car in the United States to go 200 miles an hour, and we did that in 1953.
And Scotty still broke another record this year at 213 miles per hour, making him a member of the prestigious 200-mile-per-hour club.
You know, they say as you get a little older, why, you know a little better, but actually, you still enjoy it. You know, they say you'll outgrow it, but you never outgrow it.
But if you think some of these drivers have longevity, we found a car that's been making trips to Bonneville for as long as Scotty.
Behind me is probably the oldest car here on the Salt Flats. In fact, I'm probably the newest piece of equipment on the car. It's in most of the major books on aerodynamic design. It's one of the very early philosophies on how to do a streamliner at Bonneville Salt Flats.
Part of the tradition of Bonneville racing is mixing the old with the new. And not just the cars, but the drivers as well are coming in a variety of packages.
My daughter's been wanting to drive since forever. And this year, everything clicked with her.
I kind of joked around about it when I was little. Yeah, let me race, because he's been in it about all of his life. And then it just became a reality, and here I am.
She turned 18 about 3-4 days ago, and we thought this would be the perfect birthday present for her. She's having a great time. It's a safe car. I built the car myself. I know enough about them that it's always a calculated risk, but you're safer in these cars at 150 miles an hour than you are driving to work at 55.
The first time when you go out there, it's you're scared out of your wits of the speed and stuff, and the second time it feels about right, and now I'm feeling like I'm going a little slow.
Bonneville is probably the last place where there's still real amateur hobby racing. That's people come to have fun while they're doing it. It's not, there's no purse money involved in it, and it's everybody's out here to have a good time.
For Tom Birkeland, a good time happens around 294 miles per hour. Although number 411 was one of the fastest vehicles racing that week, it was not the fastest. That distinction went to Al Teague and his blue Streamliner.
I have a very close relationship with my car, and it stays in the garage, and I'm out with it just about every night of the year. So you get kind of close to it, and it becomes more than a car to you or a cool piece of machinery. It becomes a part of you. It's just an extension of yourself. This is strictly a hobby for me, but yet it gets to be more than a hobby. Say it's a passion. I guess you'd call it a driving force or something that makes you get out there every night and do it. And of course, everybody dreams, but you know, you'd always like to be the fastest person.
An average here of 329.679. That's bumping the record by 2 miles per hour. And if the engine is still together, he'll be back here to bump it again tomorrow morning.
You're just trying to cheat the odds.
Ready? Okay. He's the fastest, the quickest, the best. That is until somebody else comes up.
Wow. It's snug inside this Streamliner. One like this set a national record of over 256 miles per hour for its class. And that's the story of the Bonneville Salt Flats. Supercross.